it.
There we go. And have we seen who won the dice roll?
We did not, but we're going to see shortly. And I mean, one thing is very, very, very interesting about this. That Kairyu-Shin Umi Legendary Ocean Control deck actually relies on locking every non-water monster deck out of playing. And now all of a sudden Raphael is playing water cards with his Paleozoic deck.
Exactly, he can just hard summon totally awesome with the Paleo Traps. And that was a really good mill of Merly. He hit Backjack, Lost Wind, and a Paleo Trap. This is actually so good for resources. This is, if you were to resolve that Grass Looked Greener a few years ago, this is everything you wanted to hit.
Indeed it is. And I mean, look at Sever. Sever is like, oh no, I'm definitely not prepared for this. Why are you coming with Paleos at me? And Raphael is starting to set cards into the back row. Which year is this? We're having Paleos back, and also we're going to see a Legendary Ocean being on the field in this match, most likely.
But Sever's hand is horrible.
Oh, what did you see?
He has multiple monsters, and I don't think that is what you necessarily want to have. And he has Mystic Mine in hand, which is not the best card against Paleos. Gotta be honest, there are so many outs.
Absolutely, yeah. Raphael in his Paleo list has multiple outs to it. Like, one card that is generally being played in a lot of other decks currently, which is Paleozoic Dynamiscus, which is already an out to the Mystic Mine that was just activated. But he's even playing more. I think he's playing more Paleo Traps. Is he playing... Oh no, he's not playing the back row removal one, so at least one less out.
He is playing another trap card that we have not seen before that came out in Dimension Force, Vivid Tail.
Oh yeah, you're right. He is playing Vivid Tail for real.
And Vivid Tail bounces back your own monster. Let me see if I can get it
There is the Morella. He's activating the Morella, and I'm honestly a little bit surprised by that because he used the Backjack, and it looks like Backjack just had no good cards to actually stack on top of his stack because he's not even chaining the effect of Backjack to the activation of Mystic Mine to actually set one of his back row cards there, and rather just keeps it in the graveyard, so maybe he just didn't reveal any trap cards. But there is the Vivid Tail you were talking about. He's just sending it instantly with the Morella, and now it instantly sets itself back as well by bouncing their own monster. Now, as you said, this is just instantly a Mystic Mine out. I did not see that coming.
He just said, yeah, okay, I'm going to take my small Merly back, and he can even use Merly next turn again for the really nice Mill 3 effect. And now Backjack is going to hit the Sharon, and Sharon can actually trigger. This is so huge. This is really good. I did not even consider that.
Leo, I'm incredibly impressed by that Vivid Tail move. That was insane. He just didn't even care about the Mystic Mine, a card that actually was insanely popular over all the events and was winning so many duels. But here, it wasn't even a problem for a whole turn. He was just getting rid of it instantly.
He just has a Morello Bill out.
Yes. Indeed,
this is how we have to call it now.
Yeah, it is Morellable for sure. And he is actually using the Rhino Heart. Rhino Heart is summoning itself back out, and he's dumping Hafnis for it. Yeah, he's dumping Hafnis. Okay, and we're fusion summoning again. This is looking very, very good for Raphael because Sever wasn't really able to put anything else to the board. He relied on that Mystic Mine, and we're shuffling with the deck now from Sever.
Did he summon the Rhino Heart with its own effect? I was reading a card here.
He did, yeah. He did summon the defense.
It should have been banished, right?
Yeah, I think you're right, yeah. Most likely he summoned it out by his own effect. I mean, why would he? How would he summon it out otherwise, right? Yeah. So it must have been through its own effect. So we're definitely making sure to get that. I mean, it's on the bottom of the deck, so we can certainly still find it, but still it's good to keep a proper game state there. And we are attacking directly with the Kid Colors and the Kaleido Heart. One thing that Paleozoics usually struggled with was putting up a whole lot of damage onto the board, because all the Paleos are just 1,200 attack. Okay, you can make a rank 2, sure, but still you're not going to get there that quickly. But now you have Kaleido Heart and Kid Colors. When you pair it up with the Telemans deck, it's actually pretty good.
Oh, and there is another Electric Jellyfish as a draw. You would think that Sever at some point wants to draw some spell or trap cards, right?
Yeah, indeed, he wants to. But there is one of the new support cards for this deck, and Raphael has to read it as well. It was released in the Water Legendary Duelist pack, and it is actually quite good. It was one of the better support cards because it's also here played in free copies. And it's definitely one of the better ones, but I think it's not one of the ones, as you say, you want to draw multiple copies of in your hand.
No, not that. But This one can mill Umi from the deck.
And there it is, a Legendary Ocean, one of those very old school cards, which is just Umi wherever. It's not just Umi on the field, it's Umi on the deck. You can just put it onto the graveyard, even though the Electric Jellyfish says you have to send Umi. This is just Umi in that case.
And now we are going to see the most. There can be only one-ish card. There is, yeah, maybe. This card says that there can only be one monster other than a water monster on either player's side on the field. So a different attribute than water. So and there are currently 2, so one will have to be sent to the GY, I think.
Oh, but there's Canadia trying to book down the Kairyu-Shin.
And I don't even know if this works.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I mean, it was face up at some point, so I think it's a permanent effect for sure. It's definitely a permanent effect, and I think that's what they're trying to solve there as well. But he's just running over the resummoned Morella with the Jellyfish, and I think it's going back over to his opponent. I mean, let's face it, Kairyu-Shin in the deck that Sever is playing is never a problem because you're basically only playing water monsters, so you can do whatever you want with your monsters. But against every other deck, it can be a really, really big problem when you can even protect it with other cards in your engine. And therefore, it's really, really good. But in this specific matchup, Raphael just has water monsters in his inherent engine, which is a Paleozoic engine, and that's really, really rough for Sever.
It's not really monsters, to be fair.
It's
more like trap cards, but with a trick.
Yeah, with a little trick. And there's the Skill Drain coming in for Sever, but it might be a little late.
Yeah,
I think
Skill Drain is such a good card, but when your opponent's monsters are at 3,000 attack points, it's maybe not the best situation.
I mean, having it right at the beginning would help, but right here, it looks like it's a little bit late because he has to worry about those attack points of Kaleido Heart and Kid Kalos, which add up to more than enough damage. There's another Canadia, I think, being thrown down onto a Jellyfish. And the other Canadia from the graveyard just comes back to the field. And there's the fist bump after game one.
This was really quick. Now that we have changed the timer for the rounds to 45 minutes, this game was almost over before the games from the last tournaments would have begun.
Yes, indeed, indeed. And honestly, by just looking at the deck list, we would have expected a very long and grindy game one, to be fair.
Absolutely.
But it wasn't at all. That Paleozoic Tillman deck just performed incredibly well there.
Yeah, and Sever's deck he just drew monsters. I think we featured one of those decks at the German Nationals.
Oh yeah, we did.
And it went the same way.
Indeed, but now he will have the advantage of going first. So I'm actually having a lot of trust in him, performing a whole lot better. This guy is 4-1 in the tournament right now, so he must have something going for himself. And I will tell you, he's going to do very well in this game. I can already tell you.
Yeah, I think that he should be able to.
Yeah,
because, I mean, like if he sets up his Kairyu-Shin in the first turn, which is not too hard because you can normally summon it.
Yeah.
Then your opponent might not be able to go for so many summons, maybe?
Yeah. And it's not even just normal summoning, you can also summon it out by Sea Stealth Attack, for example, which is an insanely good trap in this deck.
You can summon this out by Sea Stealth Attack?
I think so, yeah, for sure.
I think this just activates Umi, right? We will take a look at Sea Stealth Attack.
Yeah, just right after we will look at it again. But there are definitely multiple ways to summon out this card. So the deck heavily just evolves around this Kairyu-Shin, and you will always want to make sure to get that card onto the field because it is your main win option, to be honest. And then if you pair it together with an Electric Jellyfish, which will be able to negate monster effects of that one monster your opponent is only allowed to have.
Activations.
True, that as well. Then you should usually be in a pretty good spot. But let's see what is coming in on the side deck as well. I see that Sever, who's going first here, will be probably boarding in the Appointer. Appointer now limited on the list, so he's only allowed to play one, which he's doing. Also, Focking. Focking is pretty interesting. Do you think Focking is coming in here?
Focking disables your opponent from tributing monsters, right? So I don't think this will be the case.
I doubt it. What would you want to prevent there versus the Paleozoic tier deck of his opponent?
Versus Floowandereeze.
Yes,
I think
purely Floowandereeze for sure. But then, of course, there's Solemn Judgment and one card which I always connect to water decks, and you probably know which one I mean from the deck, and especially from his side deck. That's a pretty cool trick, to be honest. And I'm talking about the spiritual water art Aoi. Yeah, and that's really cool. I think it's tribute one water monster to just discard one card from your opponent's hand.
And you can look at the hand, I think.
You can even look at it. That's even better, so you get information.
There's a sailor joke in there because it's very close to Ahoy, which I think only Germans understand. So
probably they do, yeah. But I mean, imagine activating this first and then going a pointer after. You could actually just get multiple cards out of your opponent's hand. Let's see whether that's going to happen here. And I think the players are actually ready, so we are going to see now. Let's head back over to the players. Game 2 is about to start. Let's see.
So we are seeing another electric jellyfish. We are at 2 monsters so far.
Ooh, so that's a lot better, I think.
Playing so many different 1 or 2 offish cards that are from the LED set.
Oh, and look at that Warrior of Atlantis, an ultimate rare.
Beautiful.
I think Forces of Breaker, right? This card is insanely old, but still it gets out another card which is even older, a legendary Ocean right there.
This Ocean is so legendary.
Honestly, like today we have a little bit of a flashback, right? We saw Crystal Beast, we saw 6 Sams, and now we see a legendary Ocean. This is great.
200 additional attack points.
And
but
of course, this is not what it's about. There comes the electric jellyfish. And this time, yeah, I think he's putting the legendary Ocean to the graveyard now to search out another monster. But he's going for the Prosperity first, of course.
Yeah. So he just summons the electric jellyfish to have the possible negation.
Oh wait, you could even jellyfish actually sends from the deck to the graveyard as well, so he doesn't even need to get rid of the one on field. That's great. And let's see what he's digging out here. Are we getting Aoi? Are we getting a pointer? Or maybe we're getting one of the other trap cards he's already maining.
Ocean.
That's Fish Sona.
This is
that's
the trap
great
card
too.
you meant. So let's, what's it called? Reef? I think it is Dark Reef or something? Kairyu-Shin's Dark Reef.
Yes, Kairyu-Shin's Dark Reef, he revealed. But first of all, we're going to read. Raphael is reading, so let us read as well. The Kairyu-Shin Dark Reef.
He will read so many different cards here.
Absolutely. Next, he's just grabbing the other trap that he has not seen before in his life, which is Ice Barrier. So many cool water cards.
Kairyu-Shin's Dark Reef on the opponent's turn. Of course, it's a trap card.
Yes.
Or also on your own turn. Sends a Yumi to the GY and summons 2 monsters, which can be a Kairyu-Shin. Fish Sona is basically a generic searcher for fishes.
And you could even, now is coming the cool part, you could even special summon out a normal monster, and he actually is playing one to have for that.
And he is playing one of the coolest, Skull Marina.
He is. He's playing Skull Marina. He's just playing all the OG cards.
He added the card, he added Fish Sona. And I think this might become a Bahamut Shark at some point.
True,
This is what the card is for, by the way.
Most likely. There is the Fish Sona indeed. And also he revealed one other insanely iconic, because so old card.
Yes, there we have it.
Yes, it is the Skull Marina being on the field here in Utrecht 2022. And also the Kairyu-Shin is coming onto the field. This is great.
So Kairyu-Shin has to be red, of course.
Once more. And yeah, you said it right. This is just a free monster being on the field with the Skull Marina, and it will be used for XYZ material. I cannot imagine in any other way.
I mean, we have said this about the Crystal Beast player earlier as well. And then he just left the 2 Sapphire
but I'm sure Sever's not going to do that. Look, Electric Jellyfish now uses its effect. He's putting the Legendary Ocean from the deck to the graveyard to summon out the Kairyu-Shin from the hand, so it finally hit the field. And I think this time it actually will be staying face up, in difference to the last game.
Also, there is a way to recover your Legendary Oceans, which is Sea Stealth Attack.
Oh, yeah.
On activation, it activates... Oh, there we have it on the field.
Yeah, he has it. Great.
This happens too often this game.
I mean, he just searched it with the Kairyu-Shin, so it's pretty easily explainable there.
So this card activates a Legendary Ocean from hand or from the GY, and it basically makes your bigger water monsters invulnerable by battle. So they get the Construct effect, destroying opponents during battle by effect.
Yeah, I mean, this is cool, but I think the other effect is way more important, because it prevents you from cards such as Lightning Storm, because it can actually prevent from destruction. When you get like a mass removal thrown.
Exactly, by banishing 1 water monster from the field.
Yes.
Duel Links players know this card.
Yes, absolutely. It was pretty popular there. And this looks way more comfortable for Sever now. Game 1 was rough for him, but Game 2 looks like he's actually going to show off his game plan.
Are you telling me that he's actually leaving the Skull Marina on board?
Wait, you're right. You are actually right. You didn't go for
Bahamut. People apparently just like monsters with a few attack points at this point in the game.
I mean, it looks great. That Skull Marina right there on the board. You can't tell me any other way. This is looking great. And we're going for the end phase.
Yeah, and then we have Kairyu-Shin's Dark Reef. Let me get it up for you guys again. There's no monster on the field, so the effect is slightly weakened. However, you can still send away the Umi and special summon 2 monsters. And
we're
there we have
C stealth attack, so we have it back right there.
And it just makes sense, right? You want to use your traps as early as possible so your opponent cannot chain trap cards from his GUI.
Yep, true. You always want to have that in mind versus the Paleozoic deck for sure. So what are we getting? Ooh, look, another one out of the deck. Also one of the newer cards. It's a Mega Fortress Whale. The Mega Fortress Whale coming out. And also a Legendary Fisherman right there.
Oh no, I misread the card earlier. Okay, no. If your opponent has monsters, you can summon additionally a level 6 or lower. But wait, he is playing the Legendary Fisherman?
Yeah, he's sided it in, actually.
What is happening in this game?
He's siding it in his side. Game 2, he has that. When he's going first, he wants that because it's unaffected by spell effects. I don't necessarily know whether that's so good versus a trap-reliant deck, but still, it's a pretty iconic and cool monster. I'm
still not sure if this is Marco Tsunami's father or not.
I have no clue, honestly. He would have to ask himself. But it for sure is another iconic card he's bringing out there. I think Sever is just... He had the desire to bring us a blast from the past, and he definitely is providing us that.
And he's just putting the monsters to attack position, and this is actually a valid strategy against Paleozoic decks. Just baiting out possible interruptions by attacking, because they will have to respond.
Yeah, and did you see his hand pose? He's like so hyped about it himself. He just enjoys every single moment of that. And he already wants to go into battle phase and force all of that out.
I mean, you said it about C stealth attack. If there are any interruptions, if there are destruction effects, you can dodge those, but you can also dodge targeting effects. If there's a Dynamiscus being thrown onto the Kairyu-Shin or something, you can banish it until the end of the turn with C stealth attack and it will return.
Yep, that's actually true. So there's Lost Wind. Lost Wind in that case should...
Yeah, and it's dodged.
Yeah, it does dodge it immediately.
I think he feels the need to do so because Lost Wind, unlike most of the other trap cards that negate effects, negates permanently.
Oh yeah, you're right, 100%. That was definitely the reasoning. And he's going to his deck as well, now being able to get his surge there as well. Ooh, and look at that. He already has the C stealth attack on board, but he's also searching for C stealth too. He's playing both of them.
Yeah, this is a card that kind of surprises me because I did not consider this card to be that powerful.
Absolutely not.
Let me get it up for you guys.
Yeah, basically it says at the start of the battle phase, you can special summon from your hand or graveyard one monster that mentions Umi or a normal water monster in defense position, but destroy it at the end of the battle phase. So I'm kind of interested in that because
you have a small combo with the Mega Fortress Whale because it floats.
Oh yeah, it has to be the Mega Fortress Whale then.
Yeah.
Only a combination with that.
And maybe the Legendary Fisherman. Wait, it says it's unaffected by spell cards or cannot be targeted.
This card is unaffected by spell effects, so you could actually do it with that. That's really, really, really cool.
You can summon it back, but then it won't be destroyed.
Oh, and there's the Dynamiscus on the Mega Fortress Whale. If he manages to banish this, that's quite annoying, because then that doesn't work anymore.
It does, and Backjack is discarded, so...
And I think we saw another Dynamiscus right there on top of his deck. But there are no more cards in his hand, most likely, so he has no discard for the Dynamiscus, sadly.
Also, there are many more monsters to attack here.
Oh yeah, and Raphael is already down to 4,600.
Or maybe he attacked with all of those and just banished the Fortress Whale now?
Yeah, I mean, that's the first turn he actually deals damage, right? So it should be all of them already. Oh no, the Fisherman is still missing, so the Fisherman is swinging in some for more damage as well.
And he has 200 attack points more. This is 2,050 damage. This card is almost as strong as a Cyber Dragon.
True, but isn't the Legendary Fisherman also unaffected by a Legendary Ocean Van? Because he's unaffected by spell effects. That's what I was thinking, but apparently he's still pushed.
That is actually a really good point.
And that's what I would have thought, because Oh, look, we do mill another Dynamiscus. So next turn when we draw another card, we will have a discard and we will have that live again. But still, there's so many monsters on the board. And now, at that point, I even like the decision of Sever to keep that Skull Marina on board because it just acts as a beat stick right there, and it's bringing the life points of Raphael more and more towards 0.
Who would have thought that an actual 1.6 vanilla
from, I think, Pharaoh's Servant, right? This is so old and iconic again. But there comes Merly from the top.
A lot of pressure here.
Raphael is milling, and he hits a double backcheck Pearl Rhino. I think there are better mills than that.
Okay, it started off strong, but then it got slightly weaker. I mean, the second backcheck was unnecessary, and the Pearl Rhino you would like to have on your field, but...
I mean, he knew about the 2 backchecks because he stacked his deck, so he knew what was coming there.
I think he just knew about 1 backcheck, right? Because he drew for turn.
Oh, yeah, you're right. True, 100%.
Got the Merly, and he would mill the backcheck.
Yes, true.
It's actually quite funny, I think.
It's actually good because you stacked yourself to get the backcheck then, which is definitely great. Oh, there's a breakthrough on the Kairyu-Shin.
Also such an iconic card when it was released in Cosmo Blazer?
Yeah, yeah. I know which set you're talking about.
It was the Fire Formation set.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I think it was Cosmo Blazer, pretty surely. And also in one of the structure decks, yeah, there you have it. That's the structure deck version, of course. And there is again the Sea Stealth effect to prevent the negation of the Kairyu-Shin. But that also means that Kairyu-Shin is not longer on the field for this turn. So Raphael now for this turn is free to go, but there is the Kairyu-Shin already returning, so there was nothing more from Raphael.
So that was interesting.
And
oh, wait, he wanted to chain a Paleozoic trap from the GY, but the Sea Stealth attack was chained, so he couldn't. So that was the plan behind that.
Most likely, yep. And now we are using the effect of Kairyu-Shin, searching ourselves one more time. The Kairyu-Shin trap, the Kairyu-Shin's Dark Reef. Now that is looking pretty good for Sever here. I can see how he's really winning all these games today. This is definitely a good pick, it looks like.
Yeah, with Skull Marina beatdown.
Yeah. Who would have thought that?
I didn't.
I certainly did not as well.
This is not what I was expecting from this game.
I did not wake up today and was like, yeah, probably Skull Marina will be appearing in the feature patch today. This will make my day, and it's kind of making my day now, to be honest.
Oh, and Canada is being set here. This Sea Stealth attack is really strong against Paleozoics. I might side it in my Tier Elements deck.
Yeah, you should definitely. I would recommend it to you as well. Also play Skull Marina for sure, definitely, yeah.
Absolutely, this card is super strong.
Yeah, it's just beating over all of the monsters.
Have you seen
almost
how it
at
attacks?
least Merly, yeah.
And it's a pirate ship.
Yes.
So Legendary Fisherman attacks, and if this goes through, this is significant damage again.
Yeah, but Raphael certainly has some more traps. Oh, he wants to bounce his Merly to have it as a resource again next turn.
This would mean that there is a replay attack.
That certainly is true. And he chains the Paleo, though. Of course he does. He at least wants a monster on board.
And he prevents some damage.
And you actually get yourself another resource because that Merly is back in hand, and it can turn out to be really important here. And he still has one more backcheck in hand, so in the graveyard. So, and there's a Dynamiscus.
Oh, he can discard the Merly.
True, that's a pretty neat sequence Raphael is pulling up there. If it is resolving, though. But there's the Solemn Judgment again.
Wow, this is crazy. Solemn Judgment on Dynamiscus. This is going to hurt Raphael so badly. Is this even game? He's attacking over the Canadian... Oh,
another Dynamiscus!
This is absolutely massive. Merly will be discarded in Resolve and triggering in the GY. The Jellyfish
But Jellyfish can negate it, though. Finally, the negate effect of Jellyfish also is coming into place. This has not happened yet, but... he was reminded there. Raphael was reminded by Sever that the Jellyfish is also able to negate monster effects.
This small monster with 1,400 attack points that you are seeing on this field that was punching for a little bit of damage has a significant impact here.
Yeah, and also it actually was boosted by 600 attack points right there because it did the negate effect. So it's even bigger now, and it will actually bring Raphael down to 550 life points. And there's a pointer now as well.
On one card in hand, which is...
But he does have no cards in hand, so Sever could not activate the pointer, sadly.
So,
we were too happy already.
This is a Harvest in hand, and this card won't really do anything. I am pretty sure of that. Backcheck can be activated, but only on the opponent's turn.
Yep, he would have to wait one more turn. So Raphael is considering his options, and oh yeah, the Kairyu-Shin has to come back, of course.
Yeah.
How could you forget about that? That's your heart and soul of the deck, and you can just leave it in the banish pile.
And this is not helping your case, Raphael, but Raphael scoops it up, so Sever wins game 2 with the Kairyu-Shin Umi deck. And Skull Marina.
Wow, I did not see that coming. This is a fantastic featured match already. This is great. We're in the Waterlands now because we see Paleozoics versus the Kairyu-Shin Umi deck, and I love it.
Guys, get yourself some Skull Marinas. This card is
might be
massive.
format breaking. Yeah, this
Yes.
might be the card that breaks the format actually.
I mean, I don't know what to say about it. Honestly, I thought he was going to go into Bahamut Shark, and
which he's playing
summon
2
a
copies
toad.
of, to be
Yes,
honest.
I mean, Electric Jellyfish is not a card that you want to use as an Xyz material, and I get that. However, he also plays 2 Toads, so if the first Toads or if the Bahamut Shark survives the first turn,
Yeah.
then you can actually summon another Toad with it.
And I mean, you could basically have a direct comparison between Totally Awesome and the Jellyfish there, because you would basically get away your Jellyfish and then go into the Totally Awesome.
However,
Okay.
Sever has the direct comparison between Bahamut Shark and Totally Awesome, and Electric Jellyfish and Skull Marina.
Oh,
and
I see.
I think everyone in here agrees that Skull Marina is definitely better than Bahamut Shark.
It's
or
definitely
Totally
more
Awesome.
iconic, that's for sure, and it
It
looks
is.
great. We haven't
Now
had
it is. I
Oh,
did
yeah.
not know the card
For sure,
existed
for
before.
sure.
I mean, I have seen it in my old cards.
I mean,
back in
we
the
haven't
day,
had a
but
Plunder Patrol deck in the featured match area yet.
yeah, Plunder Patrol should play this.
Yeah, but definitely we at least have
They
the
have to.
appearance of some
Yeah.
pirate cards all of a sudden.
Exactly.
Which is the Skull Marina. But now let's see what our Paleozoic Telemans player Raphael is bringing in as going first options in his deck. And I see something which is very interesting in the format, but I don't know whether it's going to do so much versus this specific matchup. He's siding Mischief of the Gnomes. Do you think that's good? Not really, right?
I'm not too big of a fan of it. I mean, it's
Why?
cool that you can Morella it. It is
Yes.
Morella-able.
Morello Bubble.
This is getting smoother every time I say it. But I don't think that the impact of Mischief of the Gnomes is so big. You can reduce the level of the monsters in hand,
Yeah.
and that does work.
I think-
However, if you get to summon another monster from the extra deck, like the Hugin,
Yeah.
the Runic level 2, you can't reduce that, and then you can go into Elf, summon back something, and then you go into the Gigantic, so you are in your engine.
For sure. I think this card was very, very highly anticipated when everybody was anticipating the Sprite deck because they thought it's a really good counter to it. And then it didn't turn out to be that well,
Yeah,
and
people
nobody
figured
really
out how
was
to
playing
summon
it.
Sprite Elf with one monster.
Exactly,
that,
that
is level 2, and
wasn't
one
too
monster
hard.
that is level 1.
So this card did not really see any play, like a little bit, but not really that much.
People thought it would be great in tier elements.
Yeah,
like you
but I
mill the
like
card.
something here. He's actually siding in more trap cards out of his engine. He's siding 3 Paleozoic traps, and he's also siding 1 Telemans trap. So he's going with triple Oldinoidus, which I was missing in the main deck, but that's actually back row removal in the Paleozoic deck. And in this matchup, you most likely are going to see it.
This card is crazy. It can be activated against Umi. It can be activated against C Stealth attack, which is a card that he should have targeted with Dynamicious before. I think that was really a misplay.
It was a game-winning card, basically, here. Yeah,
this card really stopped him from summoning back all the Paleozoics, basically.
For sure. And what do you think about Telemans Crime? I think that trap particularly didn't see a whole lot of play at all from all the Telemans decks.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
It's the counter trap, right?
Yeah, it is the counter trap, indeed.
So what does it do?
Oh, let me just double check. When a spell trap card or monster effect is activated while you control the element monster, you can just negate the activation and then shuffle something back.
It's
Which is
not
pretty
bad.
cool. Yeah, it's definitely not good. It's definitely not bad. That's what I wanted to say. Let's see whether he sided it in because players are ready now. Game 3 of this thriller is about to start, so let's dive into it.
Okay, the players are drawing their opening hands. We are seeing so many good going second options from Sever, but nothing to actually play with. He has Game Seal, he has Hoppy's Feather Duster, and he has 2 Axes.
But let's see what Merly is milling. Merly is hitting a Shiren as a last card. I thought he's going to miss, but there's a Shiren to activate as a third card.
Merly normal summon is a pretty huge play in his strategy, right?
I think he is definitely loving that for sure. Is he even playing Rhino Hearts?
Yeah,
Let me check. Oh, he's playing double
He's
Rhino
playing
Heart.
2 of
Okay,
those.
yeah.
And he's also playing like triple Palorino and Terraforming. But I mean, merely hitting another name is basically the same as normal summoning Rhino Hearts. So
Yep.
there's that.
Absolutely it is. So Kid Carlos is probably just going to mill like Hafnes, I would think, right?
Or it might actually add Salik.
Oh, that also would work. Yeah, for sure. That definitely works.
Rise to Full Height is an interesting card that he's playing. Let me just get it up. We're just scrolling casually through his deck list.
For sure. And I mean, Salik obviously in some kind of trap tier deck, which we see here, combined with the Paleozoic engine.
Oh, that's the...
Obviously a card you want to play Fries. Oh,
It's
he's going
Crime.
for Crime, yeah. Look, I was talking about it. He's adding Tillemans Crime here, so he probably has access to Salik already, because I think Salik is a pretty reasonable choice versus this deck, because you always want to negate the Kairyu-Shin. And then he's about to set 4 and pass it over to his opponent. That's great. Looking good for Raphael right here in Game 3.
So, does Raphael play one of the best cards in the game right now, which is evenly matched, but he also has Harpy's Feather
There's
Duster.
the Harpy's
and
Feather
does
Duster.
this card resolve?
Oh my. So it's really important that he searches the Crime.
Yeah.
We know that he has a Crime, and he discards the Merly, so he can even activate the Merly. Sever doesn't even realize what's happening here, but yep, it is negated, and he puts it back to the bottom of the deck. Oh no, he just
Actually,
shuffles it
playing
into it.
Tillemans Crime is really good in this Paleozoic strategy.
Yes, for sure.
Just because cards like Evenly Matched and cards like Harpy's Feather Duster are so popular right now.
Absolutely. So he's even playing it over cards such as Solemn Judgment. He just wants the in-engine searchable way for the Solemn Judgment, basically.
So he fusion summons another Kid Kalos, which makes sense, so he can get another search off. He could search the Salik, he could also search Hafnes, and we will never know.
We're going to know shortly soon. And
I mean
we know that one
hand,
card is in the hand of Sever, and I think that's Gamisiel, right? But
Yeah.
I don't really think you want to Gamisiel a Kid Colors, do you?
He could have Gamisieled the Kid Kalos because he knew about the crime and then activated the Harpy's Feather Duster. I just
You're
realized
right.
that now.
That would have been huge, actually.
Yeah, that would have been Jack.
It would have been insane.
And he knew about it.
Absolutely. And does Kid Colors trigger when you tribute it for Gamisiel? Probably not, right?
think it's
Because
game
it's no
mechanic.
card effect. Yeah, exactly. So we see one card we haven't seen at all yet. So let's get it up onto
There's,
the screen.
the OG card. No, it's not, but...
Not really, no. It's one of the other trap cards he's playing. It's Ice Barrier, which he's sending to the graveyard by Foolish Burial Goods. And therefore, the last part of the effect basically is the relevant one, because you are having it in the graveyard, and you can banish it from there to actually do what, my friend?
You can mill a level 5 or higher water monster from the deck and then add one of those back to your hand from your GY. So basically, you can add the card to your hand now. But however, if you have multiple level 5 or higher water monsters in your GY, then you can...
Yeah, you could even go for
basically
others.
take different
But yeah,
things.
he's just pulling the Kairyu-Shin back to the hand. This deck is for a good reason called Kairyu-Shin, because it really evolves around this card heavily. So a legendary Ocean is on the field. Sever is shuffling his hand, and he is ready to do more. There is the normal summon of Kairyu-Shin.
Actually, what do you think about the decision to run Gamisiel as the Kaiju? Because if you're going second and you want this in your opening hand, right? I mean, in the grind game, it makes sense to have a Gamisiel, because as long as you have Kairyu-Shin on the field, you cannot summon other Kaijus.
Yeah.
But if you summon a Wind Kaiju, Godarla or something, to your opponent's side, and then after that play the Kairyu-Shin, then you can't play any other cards.
That is actually true, yeah.
So you're kind of soft-blocking your opponent, and I think that was... Breakthrough skill? Another
Yeah, that was Breakthrough skill.
He took the card. I was wondering why the crime was the top card of the G1. Okay.
No, he was just reading the Breakthrough skill again. And just in case you guys are wondering why that Kairyu-Shin could just casually be summoned there, besides being a level 5 monster, a Legendary Ocean, it has been a while, that's why I'm saying it again, it actually reduces all the water monsters by 1, the level of them. And therefore, that Kairyu-Shin is just a level 4 monster you can casually throw onto the board, and he just did that right there, which drew out the Breakthrough skill of his opponent.
Look at how beautiful this card is.
Honestly, it's insane. And so old, too. I feel like the half of the deck of Sever is actually more than 10 years old, honestly. All of those cards I haven't seen in so long.
And the other ones are brand new. It's a nice mixture.
Yeah, and I think even the old cards have been reprinted in the new set, which is quite cool. So if you are getting that pack, you actually get provided with all of the water cards you want to have. So we use the Breakthrough skill effect in Graveyard. So in your turn, you can negate again. So 2 turns in a row, we are negating.
Actually,
Kairyu-Shin.
so relevant in this matchup. And now we are seeing the Kairyu-Shin's Legendary Reef, tributing the Legendary Ocean to probably get out another Kairyu-Shin and maybe an Electric Jellyfish.
Most likely, yeah. Kairyu-Shin has to be the card you want to summon out here because the other one is negated, so you definitely need this one now. And I think he's searching for it. Did he side copies of it out? I mean, going second, it seems like it could make sense. But there's one. I see one. And I also saw Skull Marina. Please summon out Skull Marina.
He did not side out the Skull Marina, which is a really important part of his deck, as we have already figured.
So there is the Kairyu-Shin. But what's the second monster we're going to see? Probably Jellyfish, right?
Is it going to be the Mega Fortress Whale?
It could also be... Oh!
It is.
Okay, it's Maiden of the Aqua.
Maiden of the Aqua, which is basically another Umi. And now he can also summon out the Skull Marina because his opponent is controlling monster. So you can summon out a level 6 or lower vanilla water monster, which is the Skull Marina. I would actually really like to know what the French translation is. I cannot read it right now. I will not try to read
If he wins, that's something that Ed can ask him about after the match, I think. But there we see it, and that Legendary Ocean was sent to the graveyard to activate the Kairyu-Shin's Dark Reef, but that Maiden of the Aqua actually is also just Umi on the field. That's her monster effect, basically. And, I mean, that's 4 monsters on the field now for our friend Sever, and that happened on his opponent's turn, actually, so that's quite impressive. And Raphael now has to find a way to deal with that here.
Can he find a way to deal with Skull Marina?
Impossible. I mean, in Game 2, it seemed impossible to me. He had no answer to Skull Marina, so maybe this is just a card that, again, is breaking this game.
Kid Carlos could theoretically attack over Skull Marina. However, it is protected by Kairyu-Shin because Kairyu-Shin looks more like a threat, so you want to attack over this. So this is a really neat part about Skull Marina because your opponent does not want to get rid of it because it does not look like a threat. However, it is one.
For sure it is, yeah. So they are having a little talk about something. Because I think nobody is really known to those Kairyu-Shin cards because they haven't seen that much tournament play. Everybody has to get totally comfortable with them, and I think we just had a little
comfortable
there.
is such a nice pun that we can make later on. If awesome
Absolutely, yeah.
Summoned.
And now the Kid Carlos is... Yeah, the Kid Carlos is actually running over the Kairyu-Shin. As you anticipated, that's absolutely happening. Oh, but
it's the negated one.
I think he ran over the negated one indeed,
I mean, they both would be not negated in the next turn again.
But that means that Raphael just has no more place for this turn, right? And indeed, he just sets another back row, and I think that Kairyu-Shin is long-term going to be a problem for Raphael here. On the other hand, we know that Raphael is playing so many outs to it. There could just come Dynamiscus or something
Canadia
in the neighborhood of that. He still has that Gummy Ciel in his hand.
I think that is a Mega Fortress Whale.
Yes, he drew Mega Fortress Whale, but he also drew into a Legendary Ocean, which is not needed right now, though, because there is the Maiden of the Aqua still on the field.
So, and the Ocean Dragon Lord Kairyu-Shin was activated again.
Yep, and this is getting us to most likely the Sea Stealth attack. That's on top of his stack. Maybe also the Dark Reef.
Okay, so another Reef. By the way, if you were wondering that Kairyu-Shin sounds familiar, this is the original one that is unfortunately not being played. I would have loved to see it. Skull Marina is changed to attack position.
Oh
this
boy,
card
we
is
are going
full
in
of
now. We are going in now. This is really happening. And Sever is not even thinking about linking or XYZ summoning this card away. This looks like it's the hardest. Oh, he does. He made the aggressive move. Maybe your opponent wants to react on the attack position move, but then it gets Exceed summoned into Barmood Shark. And does Raphael have an answer to that? Because if you have like Dynamiscus or something, you should definitely throw it into this. Yeah,
it definitely is the time. Or even Salik.
Or
there are so many cards in the deck of Raphael that can.
Oh, but this is not it. This is Morella.
This is Morella. So let's see which Morella-able card he is going to use here. The 2 other set cards have to be something in the direction of Dynamiscus or Canadia or Salik, right?
I think it could just be once more the Vivid Tail. Oh no, it's okay.
It's Salik, and he searches for Harvest, and this is going to be interesting.
Do you think he's just somewhat gambling right there to hit a Telemant name with the effect of Hardness?
On the effect of Bahamut Shark. By the way, I did not even think about Morella hitting Salik.
Yeah, the synergy is insane, right? That's pretty decent for real.
Oh, he searches for the Rhino Heart.
Oh, he just wants to have setup. But I know
It's
what's
a water
happening.
monster, by
no,
the way.
he just wants to have a discard. I'm pretty sure there's a Dino-Miscus set and he needed the card in hand, and I think that's what we're going to see soon.
Then he would have activated it already because the costs are being paid.
Oh,
again,
is he
detaching the Skull Marina?
Oh, this must be Lost Wind. I'm calling Lost Wind right there. Oh, it's Rise to Full Height, another old school Paleo card. And this is just on field. I think this is one of the cards you rather want to have in the graveyard than on the field, because Rise to Full Height on the field says you can target one face-up monster and you will double its defense, but also its defense becomes 0 at the end of the turn. So you basically just said, okay, this is going to be 0 at the end of the turn, but you of course made sure that Rise to Full Height now is in the graveyard, where the effect is a lot more impactful, because it will force your opponent to only attack one of your monsters, which is pretty cool.
So Bahamut Shark is tributed for the Mega Fortress Whale.
There it is again. Honestly, I didn't anticipate this card to hit the table that often, because it seems like kind of niche, and he also only plays one of it, but he now in both games 2 and 3 has summoned it.
It is a level 7 card, however you can tribute it for 1 tribute less.
Yes, of course.
And it can just attack over Kid Colors. And in the battle phase it could... Yeah, okay, so you can now just attack the Invarella, attack over it. You can destroy the Kid Colors via effect of Mega Fortress Whale, because, no, I think it's only in the opponent's battle phase.
Yeah, it's only the opponent's battle phase.
During the opponent's battle phase, however, you can activate the effect of Mega Fortress Whale to pop a monster on your opponent's side of the field, which is massive.
Indeed it is. I mean, specifically when you can hit Skull Marina, for example. When you have so incredible monsters such as Skull Marinas on the opponent's side of the field, you wish you would have a Mega Fortress Whale. But let's see now. He has a negate set up with Totally Awesome now finally. So even when the Rhino Heart comes into play, it's going to be rough for Raphael. I think going second, we see Sever actually turning it around somehow here, right?
Yeah, and there we are always already seeing one of the downsides of these Paleozoic builds, because there are many cards that you want to mill, but you can, of course, you can draw them, and then they are less effective.
Yeah. I mean, Rise to Full Height was played in 60-card Paleos back in the day. That was already a card there. And I was always wondering why people were so in love with it, because it seemed terrible to draw, honestly. Like, the on-field effect is just, I mean, wow, that one monster on the field of Sever now has 0 defense points. Cool. And the graveyard effect is, it's protected you for 1 turn, but it's not really bringing you any further in your game plan. So it's, like, weird, but... maybe that was enough time that Raphael bought himself there with the
frogs. You could make a soft lock with Cube Frog.
Yes, that's true. That's true for sure.
Kid Colors attacks over the Totally Awesome, but I think that Totally Awesome is boosted by a Legendary Ocean.
It definitely should be, yeah.
Did he just attack into the Totally Awesome?
Yeah, all water monsters on the field gain tuned attack and defense.
Did he do the attack motion? Because I think it looked like he did.
I think we're still thinking about it. And yep, now he's saying it. Wow. He's telling his opponent, this Totally Awesome is bigger than you thought, and maybe you just made your Kid Colors run into my Totally Awesome.
Raphael says, Totally Awesome with 2,400 attack points is just unfair. He's crashing into it and taking 100 damage. This is looking crazy good for Sever, because he just outed a Kid Colors, which is a big monster that is not that easy to out.
Yeah, Raphael basically outed his Kid Colors there himself. Yeah. And this is great for Sever. And Sever has to use the 3.5 minutes he has left now.
Oh, Super Polymerization hits the field now. You discard the Harvest, and now, I mean, this is a big, not the biggest, but this is a Garura that can hit the field.
Let's see, Raphael is going for his extra deck.
Actually, this is going to be a Mud Dragon of the Swamp.
Let's see, he's double-checking the graveyard.
This is Fish.
Let me just double-check the extra deck of Raphael.
Maybe he crashed on purpose because he otherwise couldn't have gone into Garura?
Yeah, probably. So it wasn't by accident. Actually, Raphael was absolutely in charge of what he was doing.
The wrong card. It has to be Mud Dragon.
Yeah, it is Mud Dragon now. Everything is clear.
There he didn't have to
hit the field.
He didn't have to crash for it because Mud Dragon is water. So.
Yep. Makes sense, makes sense. Raphael knew what he was doing all along, and we were just fools here. So, he is taking back a water monster to his hand, which is even better in this Kairyu-Shin deck because there's so many of them.
This is still the battle phase. I think he can just... no, he can't target Mud Dragon because Mud Dragon is the type of Mud Dragon. Oh wait, you can target the Mud Dragon, right?
Well, then Mud Dragon would chain itself.
Mud Dragon. of this
Let's
swamp.
get out the Mud Dragon again.
Oh yeah, this card all monsters. Yeah.
Yep. So this will be getting close. Raphael is using the effect of the Mud Dragon, and Sever's like, yep, I have nothing to do against that, but we should probably hurry up a little bit to get to my turn, because right now Raphael is favored by having more life points in this, so he is actually currently winning this.
Yeah, it's just 2 minutes left, and he can still, because the Rhino Heart is a water monster, do some plays in this turn. I think he can just summon Kaleido Heart, and honestly, I don't even think that this is going to be easy for Sever to break. Like,
yeah, indeed. And also he has to worry about no water monster restrictions anymore, because that Kairyu-Shin was just super polyed away. I think Sever probably did not face that many super polymerizations over the course of the day, because super poly honestly seems quite strong with this deck.
Yeah. Absolutely. As soon as your deck plays multiple monsters with the same attribute, super poly hits like a truck.
And I mean, this deck is full of the same attribute.
Yeah,
it's just water monsters all along.
Like, for example, just an example for a card, Skull Marina.
Yep, that's the best super poly target you could imagine.
Absolutely. You really want to super poly this card away, guys.
Definitely. But I mean, there's not that much super poly in the format anymore. At the beginning, everybody thought like tier is crazy, and therefore everybody played super poly. But now that people are playing more and more Sprite Runic, I feel like super poly lost a bit of popularity.
Also, people started to play around super poly more, ending on boards like Kaleido Heart and Dweller, which you can't super poly at all.
Definitely. It was one of the main priorities for tier players to find a way to build an end board without actually getting super polyed every day of the
However,
week.
the card is still not bad. I mean, you don't use it on the first turn then, you just pass, and at some point when your opponent is trying to finish the game by OTKing you, you can still super poly at some point.
Yeah, and funnily enough, the super poly itself is probably even better versus all of the other decks. Like it's, of course, versus a fusion deck, you would think it's great, but also versus all the rogue decks, just Math deck or something, it's really good. It's actually
the
great.
combination of Garura and the Mud Dragon of the Swamp really hurts.
Yep, for sure. You can basically target whatever matchup you can imagine.
Now the Dark Reef is being activated. The legendary Ocean was sent to the GY, and we are seeing 2 more cards being summoned to the field. Unfortunately, he has already used the Skull Marina, because this would have been summoned as well. So now we have again the Kairyu-Shin on the field and the Mega Fortress Whale, and time is called. This means that Raphael takes this game, and we are just waiting for the handshake.
Yep. They're both saying, is there a way to deal damage now somehow in the end phase? And there's not. We see a fist pump instead of a handshake. And we therefore have our winner for the round 6 featured match. And the crowd is loving it. And I think they just love it because we had a fantastic game, right? Both guys really deserved the win there. They both were coming into this tournament with creative decks.
It was a real back and forth.
For real, yeah. I couldn't tell, like, 2 turns ago who would have won that third game. Like, it was actually looking quite good for Sever, honestly.
Yeah, I thought it was looking good for him, but he did not deal any damage whatsoever.
True.
And, I mean, it was just getting later and later and later, even with the 5 minutes more that we have for this tournament. At some point, he was just like 2,900 life points down. And then Rhino Heart and Super Poly as well. Super Poly played a big role in this because we thought he has the damage on the field. There was like 6,000-7,000 damage on board, but if everything you have is getting Super Polyed away, then you don't do much damage anymore.
It's interesting because after game 1, we actually talked about it being quite quick. And we were like, this is a control matchup. This is supposed to take a while because both of those decks are designed to take a while. And now we actually took quite a while for game 2 and game 3. And therefore, we ended up being in timeout. But what do you think about that Paleozoic tier deck? How would you look at it in this general meta game? Let's just theorize about it. How is it versus the control tier variant without any Paleozoic decks?
So first of all, I want to mention that I am sad that no Totally Awesome has been summoned with a Paleozoic as a material. Second of all, I think that Dynamiscus, as it was already before in not full Paleo variants, is such a strong card for the deck.
For versus tier specifically, right? Just banish all of the monsters?
Also, I think maybe part of the thought process was, okay, Fairy Tail Snow is no longer allowed.
True.
So I play Canadia because people apparently thought that booking was good. So I just use Canadia to book my opponent's gigantic sprites or whatever. And then I play through their boards.
Yeah, and I'm really curious about that Vivid Tail. I mean, that's a pretty new card.
Was crazy. It was
Dimension Force. and it looks like it's giving the deck so many more options, right?
Yes. However, I think that the deck has enough inherent outs through Mystic Mine.
Yeah, it's not just
you
about
don't
that,
really need it.
but still, like you have the opportunity to get cards back to hand for Dynamiscus, and sometimes you would struggle with that. So you get
add back
resources to hand.
but
Exactly.
he never drew it.
Yeah, you never saw Pelorino and won anyways. So I really like the inclusion of Vivid Tail. I definitely think that's a great one, because you can not only send it with Morella, but you could also just mill it with Backjack. So there are definitely multiple ways to get it into the graveyard. So I definitely think it's good.
Backjack would actually set it to the field.
You could even do that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, true, indeed it would. But then you could still get it into the graveyard at some other point. And so it's looking quite decent versus the pure tier variant. But how do you like it versus the Sprite variants?
Runic Sprite, I mean, especially because of Runic Sprite, I would have thought that this deck was good when you are playing triple Olenoides in the main deck.
True. Yeah,
I would have played the Spell Trap Destruction Paleozoic card. 100% I would have considered it. I think that there are so many evenlies in this tournament.
Oh,
that
yeah.
This might, I think that the normal tier variant could be a little bit better in this tournament, but Raphael has proven us wrong in this situation. I mean, we haven't made a statement about it, to be fair.
Yeah, but I mean, he also has proven a lot of other players wrong, because he's already 5-1 in this tournament. So he definitely proves his point right now that Paleozoic tier is definitely a deck you should consider, and which is performing well here in this big event at this big stage. And I mean, still, shoutouts to Sever for coming here with Umi control and surprising everyone, summoning Skull Marina in the featured match area.
This was really close. He could be the one being 5-1. It was basically almost all about the super polymerizations that came in the last moment that Raphael really needed it.
Absolutely. It was so close. As I said, we couldn't tell who would be winning just 2 turns before the game actually was over. And I think it was very well played, mostly by both of them. I think maybe Sever even wanted to do a little bit of a show, actually, because he was maybe intentionally leaving that Skull Marina on board. He just wanted to showcase the Maiden of the Aqua as well. He just really wanted to play with those old iconic cards and really wanted to give them the spotlight.
Aqua was important because he had the Kairyu-Shin as well on the field, so he needed the Yumi. And yeah, of course, the Skull Marina.
Yeah.
Best card in the deck.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously.
We're in love with it.
However, there was a little cheeky, want to call it a mistake.
Go ahead. What was it?
Attacking with the kit colors into the Totally Awesome.
Oh, of course. You're right.
I think his thought process was that he would go into Garura with Totally Awesome.
And therefore, he would have needed to get rid of it. But
had to clear it. But he couldn't summon it because Kairyu-Shin is a sea serpent or a fish. And Totally Awesome is Aqua, so you can only summon the Mud Dragon, which is a water monster already.
Yes, indeed.
So you can summon it with Kairyu-Shin on the field.
True. That's
let's
really
hear
bad.
it from the man himself. Maybe Ed will address this in the interview. Maybe not. Ed, take it away.
Yes, guys, I am joined by Raphael, who has just won that round. He has told me that he doesn't speak that much English, so we are going to try and keep it fairly brief so that we can keep that fine. But firstly, congratulations. How does it feel to be winning this many? You're now, is it 5-1 at this point?
Yeah, 5-1, and I play against French players, so it's really cool. It's the first time feature match for us, so I'm really happy.
So, were you expecting to go up against a deck like the one that you went up against today?
No, with Tier Paleo, I'm happy when I play against Sprite or Tier. I think it's a good matchup, but I don't know zero effect. I don't know this effect, and reading, and I will with the time, but I don't know. It's really complicated because the big monster say control only one no water monster, so I have Paleo, but it's not okay against a big monster, and I won this match because I have I don't know the English name. I can banish the card, target one monster of the field. You can attack only this one, and he take 300, so I won like this.
Perfect. And so talk to us a bit about why you chose your deck, because the Paleo version is one that we do see some people play it, but it's not that common. Why do you like that deck?
I see 5 person maybe in the top table with Paleo. I think Paleo is really good because you have Dinomishus is the best card. You can out all of card in the game. And Opabinia can search Marella effect, Rebound Paleo, Sensuliek, add Merli, Mel3, Todd, and play. You have a negate for Nibiru, for example. And I think it's really consistent.
It had a couple of moments as well where, because you're talking about Dino-Miscus being a very strong card, there was a moment where Solemn Judgment came out on your Dino-Miscus, and then you had another one ready to go that was then negated by the Electric Jellyfish. In moments like that, how did you keep calm and composed?
Yeah, with Paleo, we have a time, because I have the trap and you can battle. So I can just summon level 2, and Opabinia, Todd, just Marella, Church, a cheer, and you can explode.
Perfect. Well, I hope this deck continues to bring you good fortune in your upcoming games. Best of luck. Guys, don't go anywhere because we have a couple more rounds coming up for you in today's coverage, so stand by.